Ladies and gentlemen, Six Figs here from YouTube. We're going to be talking about all the craziest stuff going on within the crypto markets right now. So, we've got some banging news out of Canada. This is interesting. Breaking: Canada has just banned margin leverage trading on cryptocurrencies. This is where it all starts, folks. This is where they continually chip away at your rights. Man, Kevin O'Leary has a crypto exchange up in Canada. This is interesting stuff. There's more to this. And we'll be speaking about Kevin O'Leary. We'll be speaking about Gary Gensler and how dirty he is, right? He's complicit in this whole thing. It's very, very interesting. We had a tweet out of a representative, Tom Emmer, who is a representative here in Minnesota. So Gary Gensler knows that FTX was fraudulent from its inception. This is egregious considering he had more meetings with Sam Bankman-Fried than anyone in the space to discuss crypto regulatory framework designed to benefit FTX alone. This last part makes me bullish. He will be held accountable. Here we have an elected official saying that some deep state actor that's been appointed to some position will be held accountable. We need more people like Tom Emmer. I don't care what his political views are on anything else. When people like Gary Gensler are out there raping all of us in the crypto markets, we need people like Tom Emmer. It is what it is. So very, kudos to Tom. That's awesome. If you're looking for examples on how SBF FTX committed fraud and market manipulation, folks, I made a video on this 6 months ago. Unfortunately, it didn't get very many views. The ICP community was like, oh yeah, F yeah, let's go. Because they knew that I was telling the truth. Everyone else just kind of was like, we're drinking the Sam Bankman-Fried love potion. He's going to save crypto bullshit. I don't know what to do with my hands right now. But we were all right here over at the ICP community. I will drop a link to this video in the end screens if you guys want to check the video out. Very fascinating stuff. Speaking of the SEC, I ended up writing them, folks, back in June. A very interesting question. In fact, the question I asked the SEC Chicago was, hey, what is there any problems with an exchange listing futures trading before an asset gets listed? That's a very unusual question, things like that. And I was basically referencing the FTX scheme that they have been participating in. That's from the video. Unfortunately, folks, I got this very cookie cutter response from the SEC. They don't give a shit about anybody writing in. They just simply don't. If I was an investigator, I would say, wow, this person is asking me a very technical question like they know something. That's the first thing I would have thought. Bitboy got swatted, folks. Now, I want to just take a little bit of time on this because really I have experience when it comes to law enforcement, things like that. I was a 911 dispatcher. I was a police reserve officer. I was a police reserve sergeant. All right. And I know how radios work. I know how police work. Luckily, we never got a swatting call. But this was very dangerous for Bitboy crypto, folks. And let me tell you guys why. Simply because these swatting incidents, in a lot of cases, people get hurt or killed. And Bitboy was very close to getting shot in his own backyard. Think about that for a second. Here in America, folks, there are more guns than there are people. That's why America will never be invaded by any other country, simply for that fact. And if you guys are ever in this situation where the police are banging on your door at 3 a.m., in this case, in Bitboy's case, they weren't banging on his door. He ran into the SWAT team in his backyard. Very dangerous situation. But if somebody's banging on your front door at some early morning hour and they're yelling police, don't just open the door. Pick up your phone, dial 911, ask them, hey, Is there police banging at my door? I don't know about you guys in the Midwest. I'm in the Midwest here in the United States. I believe Wisconsin, which is right next to Minnesota, has more guns than all the nation's militaries combined. And here, if I get somebody knocking on my door at 3 a.m., this is what I'm grabbing, folks. It can hold 50 rounds. It can dump 50 rounds within 3 seconds. Binary trigger. We'll get into that some other day. But you guys can see where all this danger happens to the police, people inside the homes, innocent lives get lost. And in Bitboy's case, he saw a bunch of flashing lights outside his house. Curiosity killed the cat, right? So he decides, I'm going to go out my back door and get a better look, maybe look around the fence, things like that. Man, when he went out his back door, he's lucky, folks. He wasn't carrying a gun. At least he wasn't carrying a gun to my knowledge. He didn't say. I would assume Bitboy's got a house full of guns. I hope he does. If he would have been carrying something like this, and you would have ran into the SWAT team in his backyard, he probably would have gotten startled by the SWAT team. Maybe he would have drawn his gun or made a movement that would have caused him to get shot. That's how these swatting calls work. And he had mentioned that in Georgia, I believe that's where he's at, he had mentioned that it's attempted murder for those people reporting swatting. So, or those people setting up swatting calls for people. So very, very disturbing process. The 911 operators should have done a better job. There's not much the police can do. When they get a call that Bitboy just murdered his children and was going back to his house to murder his wife, they have to respond. And that's what the swatting call was. And when you get that type of a call, guess what? You're going in guns drawn. And, I would have liked to see the dispatchers maybe try to make more contact with the household. They can get a hold of anyone's cell phone. They can get a hold of anyone in that household's cell phone. That's what I would have tried to do. I'm just glad nobody got hurt. That's scary, folks. That's freaking scary stuff. This is interesting here. U.S. Justice Department weighs charging Binance and its executives. Well, good luck. You guys can charge CZ all you want, but realistically, no one's going to extradite him. He's got too much money. People are paid off around him. China sure as hell ain't going to extradite him. But this guy, Ryan Sean Adams. See, here's what I hate. I have no idea if Binance is getting investigated because it's legit sketchy or it's getting investigated because CZ didn't pay off the right people in D.C. And, he's got a valid point here because when it comes down to this, folks, this is a crazy thing. At this point in time, we don't know the relationship between CZ and Gary Gensler and all these other political actors, things like that are involved with this whole Sam Bankman, Gary Gensler SEC scheme. The way the SEC chair, Gary Gensler, was acting, basically suing all these other crypto projects, just like Avalanche was doing. That's another Ring of Fire coin that I don't want to talk about. Super crooked, to say the least. But it's just interesting, man. The whole Security and Exchange Commission, the whole U.S. Justice Department, I don't trust any of them at this point in time. Let's you know what? Let's get into some charts, folks, because I'm feeling real juicy right now. Like we got to look at Bitcoin or something like that. So with that said, crypto markets are green. We're getting a little 3 to 6% markup pretty much across the board. Where's Bitcoin? Bitcoin's up 4%. What do we got ETH at here? I can't find it off the top of my head. But let's look at Bitcoin here. Really, we're looking at the 4-hour chart stretching back to June, July. We can see this very nice falling wedge that's happening. We can see that price has obeyed both of these support levels. And now we're kind of getting a little bit of a channel to the upside. What I think is going on here, and I did illustrate this in one of my previous live streams, was that I thought there was a little ascending triangle that was forming and that we would get a pop simply because the lows kept getting higher, things like that. Looks like that is taking place. The one thing I'm kind of worried about right now is that there might be some sort of Elliott wave theory move to the upside, and I'm worried that there could also be this head and shoulders that is kind of forming here. So it's going to be interesting. At this point, we've got a very nice bull flag pull, and I'm hoping that we'll see some sort of symmetrical triangle squeeze like this, or some sort of bear flag like this. Price is pretty far from the Ichimoku cloud on this 4-hour chart, so I do think that there will be a little sideways movement going into maybe Friday. Maybe we'll get a nice move up. Maybe we'll get some double tops. We'll just have to see what happens. Ideally, folks, I think we're going to see a move very similar to this right here. So it is what it is. Target, about 19,000, somewhere in there. I would love to see Bitcoin hit that. Let's look at Bitcoin dominance. Here it is. Really coming up nicely. In fact, I do think that there is even this chance that there could be maybe a little cup and handle here, quite possibly. It could be possible. You know what? We'll just have to keep our eyes on that. Let's look at good old Ethereum. Now, Ethereum, folks, I am not the most bullish on Ethereum right now. Here is the reason why. Rising wedges are some of the most bearish patterns that you guys can see. This is a very devastating pattern. I think ETH has a lot of clunks and a lot of flaws with it right now. Really, the people that are staking ETH, you can't withdraw your ETH. What's up with that? And really, the gas fees, they're too damn high. Ethereum has been a big time problem for the crypto industry just simply because of its design, right? We're trying to onboard people, trying to explain to someone, hey, guess what? If you pay this $300 gas fee, you can buy a digital picture of something. That's fucking stupid. So with that said, we can see that Ethereum has left the rising wedge, and it's really kind of coming up to test these outer limits here. So I don't know. Of course, folks, I hope nothing bad happens to Ethereum. I just think that there really needs to be a major overhaul on those two key points that I just made. I think we're going to kind of wrap it up for today's video, folks. I hope you guys have a wonderful day wherever you're at. Stick around for the end screens for that video, and we'll see you guys all on the next one.